Okay, so I will be recording each of these sessions, and then after 45 minutes, we're going to take a break. I'm going to stop the video and then stop the Zoom meeting, and then start another Zoom meeting, and we can log back in for the second half. That way it breaks it into two 45-minute videos and it doesn't get too crazy. Okay, so again, this is going to be all online. Our online testing, online homework, your book actually can be electronically online if you want to go really, all the way electronic. We also have our online classes. So this one's going to be a little bit different because we're talking about how the class is structured, and I'm going to get some input from you as to that. But as the semester progresses, what we're going to have is the first half is going to be me going through the goals, and within each goal I'm going to actually start working through problems when we have problems to work through. Like, so when we start doing nomenclature, I'll actually say, okay, let's do the 5 steps or the 7 steps of nomenclature, and we're going to go this, this, and this. And so most of the lecture is actually, the long style lecture is going to be the videos on YouTube. Okay, that's every slide I have. It's talking about every word on every slide. And so that is all of the information from the book is on those long videos on YouTube. I've tried to break them up into 10 or, I think the longest one's 33 minutes. Sorry about that. But I tried to break them up into smaller units so that you can, replay it. You can pause if you've already done that section, you can fast forward. I think it gives you an opportunity to go back to things you didn't understand or fast forward through things you did. And so that gives you an opportunity to kind of take those at the long lecture at your own pace. Okay, the in-class session, which starts at noon, is going to be me going through 3 primary goals of that particular chapter. And it's just talking about that one thing and working through problems on that one thing. And then the second half of the live class will be answering questions that people have. We'll also be taking, polls and stuff like that. As we move all the way over to Top Hat, there'll be additional questions, participation questions in class. Just answering the question will give you partial credit. And then answering it correct will give you credit. And so there'll be participation points in each and every lecture. And then there'll be also, I will be taking roll or attendance just to make sure that we have everybody at least engaged in some part, and so I can check on people if they drop out of the course. So we'll do that. So one of the best things about the online section is that we have a lot of channels of communication. Okay, so for the best way to communicate me, if it's outside of class, is to email me. Okay, my email inbox is my to-do list. If you email me, I will respond in 1 to 2 days, maybe sooner. On weekends, give me a little more time. I like to garden, so I might be outside. Okay, so for office hours, I will set up individual office hours if you need individual questions asked, and that is perfectly acceptable. I'm also setting up some forums on Canvas that'll be discussion forums for, hey, I did this homework problem, but I don't get it. Why? And people can, your classmates can also contribute to that. And so I have a couple of them already set up inside Canvas. Let's see, if you go to Canvas dashboard, let's see. The discussions already on there, I think are, let's see. There's 2 discussion boards already set up. One is nomenclature, and one's the cyber lounge, and then one's problem solvers. So there's some discussions already set up there. Go ahead and put in an appropriate question for the course, and hopefully I can respond to it or monitor it, or you can have other students respond to it as well. Okay, so there's really several opportunities for that in exchanging of information. Okay. Okay, let's move to see if I can't get this to scan down. Okay. Um, our goal on this course is to actually give you a kind of an overview of organic chemistry, all of organic chemistry. Okay. So, you're not ready to run off and, go join an organic chemistry lab at that point, but you should be able to recognize names, recognize compounds, say what kind of class that compound would be. When you get a prescription, you can look at the diagram of the figure on that prescription and say, oh yeah, look, it's got this function group and I recognize this and that's what it means. And so that's what I want you to get out of this course, is that you have enough knowledge that when you start reading your shampoo bottle, you can say, oh, laurate, okay, that's a carboxylic acid salt. And so that we'll be able to, you can use it in your everyday life, believe it or not. I had my honors classes joking with me, oh, you didn't say you use organic chemistry every day. It's like, well, yeah, I do. Just not, as much as I use my phone, but that's a different one. Okay, so what we'll be doing is we'll be covering a bunch of stuff about nomenclature, why and how we know these compounds happen. That's what we get when we go to spectroscopy. And we're only covering chapters 1 through 16 in the book. Okay, so there are some other chapters in the book, and if you want to read them on your own time, that's okay. But I will be testing over chapters 1 through 16. Okay, I do have the Poon and Brown as our organic chemistry textbook for this class. Some of you already had it, so that was good. And it should be available digitally if you don't want to actually have a physical copy as well. Other requirements are a working video camera. Because of the online testing, it actually uses video recording to measure that you are looking away or not using notes, etc. So that is a requirement for our course right here. We're going to start with the Zoom video conferencing because it's free. Eventually, once everybody gets loaded into Top Hat, we can actually do presenting and other things and polling through Top Hat as well. And then I also will be doing some things as Zoom or some things as Top Hat. I will send you an email with the join codes for that particular day's events so that you know which one we're going to be in. So you have the opportunity to join the correct one. For Top Hat, we're only going to be using the presentation mode and the homework and the testing function. So I have their textbook materials blocked out. It's way, way more information than we need. It has like basically 700 pages worth of material, and there's no way, number one, we can get through it. Number two, that we need to know that for this course. So that's why I'm sticking with the Brown and Poon and Brown. And I think it gives us the right level of knowledge, the right level of depth, and the right number of different types of functional groups and reactions that lets us kind of, be comfortable with the concept of organic chemistry. Okay, okay, nobody in the chat session here. Some important dates are today, our first class day. June 4th, which is Thursday, is called Census Day, meaning I have to report that you have or have not been to class. And so that's kind of important as to what we can see in these. So part of the participants log here is going to be saved, and so I can tell that you have logged in, and that counts as attendance for our first few days. When we move to the Top Hat, that'll take attendance and participation grades, and so that will be added to the system as we go. Our first exam is on Friday. In fact, all our exams, our first 4 exams, are on Fridays. So the idea is that you do 4 chapters, take an exam, do 4 chapters, take an exam. And then the last week, we're going to finish up a couple chapters, do a review, and then we'll have our final exam on July 2nd from 2 to 4:30. And again, that'll be administered online through Top Hat. Okay, any questions so far? I think this means hooray in sign language, by the way. So just so you know. Okay. All right. Hey, we're up to 22. That's almost everybody. Okay. So the way I've organized this is by chapters / modules. So I'm going to show you I'm going to post this as kind of a schedule of when to expect things, I'll post this and go through it in detail here today. So they're going to be by chapters. I'm going to attempt a chapter per day. And then, so there'll be 3 to 7 videos per chapter, depending on the shortness or complexity of it. And those videos will show up on the YouTube channel, preferably a day ahead. I will be probably barely caping up through Friday, but starting next week, all of the videos for all of the rest of the chapters should be available. Hopefully by sometime this weekend, you'll have all 16 chapters of videos available to you. And so that you can work ahead, or if you have to work and you have to come back in late, you can still have access to those videos. Okay, so each module will have, you can use the book as a reference, you can use the videos as a reference, and my goals that I'll be doing in class live is truncated. So don't think you can just use the goals in class live to learn all the information. What I'll be doing is emphasizing certain things, and then when we have problems will work out, I'll show you how I solve the problem, and so that you can use that same process for solving the problem and answering questions. So they each are a slightly different component, hopefully tacking on a little bit of each of us learn a little differently, and hopefully you'll find one that works for how you learn. Okay. And then in addition to the homework, there's also what I call collaborative assignments. Every week on Thursdays, I'm going to have an exercise, and then we're going to break out into small groups, and I'll go around and monitor all the different groups, make sure everybody's making progress. And this gives you an opportunity to teach and learn and access other people and be social. You know, we need a little bit of that here and there. So it'll give us an opportunity to do that as well. Okay, any questions so far on what I consider modules? Okay, okay, good, okay. All right, again, I do have chat open here, so go ahead and do that. I have 3 discussion forums already set up in Canvas. That's problem solvers. That's where you can post any questions about course mechanics, like I didn't get the last homework assignment, is it still up, or something like that. There's the Cyber Lounge, which, hey, I got 100 on the quiz, or something like that, just so that you can, celebrate, how well we're doing, and then if we're not doing well, let's go ahead and have a talk and figure out how to actually get doing well enough that we can celebrate those things. And then there'll be an individual topics forum. One thing I like to have is the nomenclature forum, because as we go through, we keep adding little things to the nomenclature rules. And so having that forum kind of add things as we go, you'll see that we start with some simple rules, 7 simple rules, and then we're going to keep adding to them and doing that. Okay, so within the forums, all I'm going to do is facilitate, and answer questions and nudge if there's like, well, that's not exactly right, it's more like this, kind of things. But it's more of an opportunity for you to communicate with amongst yourselves, and just I can answer questions as needed. Our Zoom meetings are, again, Monday through Thursday. We do not meet on Fridays. We only take the exam on Fridays. Okay, so if you are all prepared and start your exam at noon, you might be out by 12:30 or 1, and happy weekend. That's that's what we're going to do. I find that number one, I hopefully we all are can arrange our work schedule such that we have this period of time for us together. So I'm trying to schedule it for our class time, so you don't have to you were going to be in class at that time anyway, so I'm trying to keep you having that class time set and fixed so that we have that regular periodicity and that you always have that available to you. Be outside of those Zoom meetings, I can have individual Zoom sessions for individual people, or even groups Zoom sessions. If you have a group in a discussion and you all have the same question, we can all get together and have a quick little interactive assignment. So all of our assignments will be through the learning modules on Top Hat here. What you'll see is they will not show up until I assign them. okay? For all the slides, for example, the goal slides, those will be available to you for the rest of the semester, actually the rest of the summer. And so you can go back and use those as a review for you. The homework assignments will be assigned each week. I'm gonna assign them in blocks. So chapters 1 through 4 will be assigned when I finish them this afternoon, and they'll be due by noon on Friday. Now, why noon on Friday? Because our exam starts at noon on Friday. And so by having done the homework, you will be exposed to the type of questions I'll be asking on the exam. So it's kind of to help wrap up that, that week's information and to get you prepared for the exam. And so that's why they're due on that time. Now, I should be releasing the next week's homework on Friday, so that you have, if you do work, you can actually, get a little bit ahead on and look at the videos ahead on the weekend, and then do your homework ahead of time and still have time to come to the class and look at the goals and look at the different learning focuses that we have during the actual videos, Zoom meetings or Top Hat meetings. Okay, let's see, continuing down on our schedule here. Every Monday, I'm going to send out an email of what's due that week. Okay, what chapters we're doing, what homework we're doing, what the activity will be of the week. Okay, you should have gotten an email this morning around 9 a.m. that said, things due this week. Okay, I'm going to use that communication method to help you, organize your time. If you have to work or you have something on a day, get a little ahead, or at least plan to have some extra time the next day so that you can catch up. All of the homework assignments, it says here due at midnight. I'm going to change that. That's actually going to be noon on Fridays. So the in-class assignments will be due at the end of that Zoom session or that Top Hat session. Okay. For evaluation and feedback here, I believe class participation is important. So try to make as many of the live lectures as possible. I will be taking participation points and correct answer points for that as we move to the full platform. This gives us an opportunity to ask questions. Again, the live lectures are not the whole lecture. The live lectures are focused units of fundamental things we need to understand and how to solve the problems around that fundamental idea. So it's different than the videos, okay? So they should go hand in hand, and as we move forward, feedback from you as to whether it's helping or not, it would be great. Homework, they can be done daily, or you can wait till the last day. Again, there's only 10 questions per chapter. I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I'm trying to get you to think about how I would ask a question and how I want you to answer the question. So it's not to give you busy work. It's actually to, okay, I think I understand it, but the way the question asks it, I don't understand it. Let me think about this. And so it gives you an opportunity to be as successful as possible on our exams, okay? The team activities, I've already mentioned a couple times. Those will be on Thursdays during active sessions, and they'll be different each time. I've come up with a couple different ideas that I think will hopefully be fundamentally useful as far as understanding things, as well as, kind of an opportunity for you to teach and learn from your classmates. All the exams will be video proctored on Fridays at the time from noon to 1:40. If you do have some kind of emergency that arises, go ahead and email me as quickly as you find it, and we will try to figure out a way around it. If you miss an exam due to an excused absence, there's lots of, things. I've had students end up getting, sick or hurt or something like that. We can substitute that exam, but I don't want you to go ahead and retake the exam at that point. There's 3 reasons for this. Number one, the live proctoring helps inhibit online cheating. Sites like CHEM and stuff are actually locked out through the online video system. Suspicious behavior is monitored on that. So if you tag away or try to copy something or use a camera or a phone, it actually flags that as suspicious activity. And so being that I am actively monitoring, so that if you accidentally get logged out, you can contact me. I'm live monitoring the exams from noon to 1:40 on Fridays, such that if you do have an issue, you can email me. There will be a form for you to email me or contact me live. If you don't understand the question, I can try to, figure out if it was stated wrong, or if there's a way to ask the same question in a slightly different way such that you can figure it out. So that's why the video exams are proctored at that time. Somebody's already asked for a change in time, and we've resolved that conflict. And so please contact me as soon as you have a conflict, and we can try to resolve it as much as possible. Our final exam, just like all Texas State finals, they have to be during that specific period of time. And so our final exam will be on July 2nd from 2 to 4:30 p.m. Mark your calendars. Okay, so that's a Thursday, and then I should have grades finished by Friday, July 3rd. So we can all go off for the 4th of July weekend, all knowing what we've done. Okay, any questions on that so far? I find that I talk really loud and I move a lot because I'm on Zoom, so sorry about that. Okay, so here's the current activities right here. This is what I'm hoping to grade with right now. As time goes on, if we have issues or like class participation wasn't what we thought it would be, we can change things as we go. We will agree to and change the syllabus as needed. But class participation, that means 5%. The goal is to meet at least 3 of the 4 live sessions per week to get the majority of the points there. The homework, again, is quite short, but it's important to figure out how I ask questions. So it's 10%. The team activities are another 5%. Each exam is approximately 15% of your grade. And then the final exam is 20% of your grade, which will give us a total of 100%. Total number of points, actually, it's going to be somewhere on the order of like 1,600 points total available to you. You might see the running points tally in Tracks or Canvas. So the grades will be assigned on a percentage, just, A, B, C, D, 90, 80, 70, 60, etc. So, oh, there they are. Okay. Because of the way Top Hat assigns things, it will lock you out within a second. So please plan ahead. Try to have everything in on time. You can turn things in late, but let's try to just keep everything on time. If you have an individual issue, go ahead and email me. We'll talk about it. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Okay, so because this is a distance learning course, online only, we have to have a slightly different set of ethics rules than we had before. One thing is we have Zoom, and there are some students who are being brought up through the Ethics Council and Ethics Board for Zoom bombing and doing other weird things. Because I record these, I would have lots of evidence to give to a conduct board if that became an effort. Let's go ahead, we're a small group, we're only 23 people, so let's, just keep everything nice and professional, and we'll have a great semester, and that'll make a lot easier for the rest of us. When you do have, discussions, go ahead and be polite and civil. That's very important for the free flow of ideas. We're learning here, and so that's the important here. You need to invest a little bit of time, read the book or watch the videos or both before coming to class. It'll really help it. It'll make it really solidify the project. Again, when I do these live things. It's going to be solving problems, showing you how to solve problems. So the basic ideas already need to be at least familiar to you when we get to that point. For online decorum, I mean, everybody's been great so far, and hopefully we continue that for the rest of the semester. The chat function as well as the participants function are recorded, so I can, you know, go through who's here and what's happening. And so let's go ahead like that. Being that it is online, you can have your phone out and you can be doing quiet things on your phone. If your pet interrupts, you know, go ahead and mute and move them off to the side if necessary. I'm perfectly okay with that. Just try to keep, you know, this time blocked out to focus as much as you can and get as much information as we can exchange as possible. I think that's really going to be important for us on this class. I had to include this academic integrity section here because when my course moved from in-class to online, there was massive cheating. So CHEG just seemed to get a lot of responses. Luckily, CHEG was able to give us live feeds of when people were actually uploading questions during exams. And so we have several people being prosecuted through the system for doing that. That's why I went to use Top Hat with Proctorio, because they do online videoing of it. And they measure your keystrokes in your face and look for suspicious behavior. And so it's kind of like being live proctored. It's just, it's digital proctoring. And so, so I encourage you to work with me. If you're falling behind, don't cheat, call me. I mean, email me, we'll set up a Zoom video. We'll get you, you know, additional help, you know, to help you work through this. You know, communication is really important here, but with these new modern techniques, we have ways of, you know, seeing if you're cheating. And so please don't communicate with me first. It'll be easier for everybody in the long run. Okay, so that's the overall. There, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Okay, any questions about the syllabus, the course, how it's structured, where we think we're gonna be? Okay.
Professor?
Yes.
You mentioned that the book through Top Hat, you said you blocked that, and
you shouldn't have the access to the book on Top Hat.
So you want us to obtain one, a regular copy of it?
Yes, the Poon and Brown, which is the one available at the bookstore. I also linked a link in one of the emails that let you buy a digital copy or rent a digital copy.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the one we're going to be using. That'll have all of the information we're using. And my slides are based on that textbook, and it's in that order. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
So when I originally signed up for Top Hat, it did give me an option to go in and do my Chrome web extension for Proctorio. And I went into that. For whatever reason, I couldn't figure out how to buy it. And now when I go back into my Top Hat, I don't see the option to getting that again. Yeah,
Proctorio is free. But it's a download, it's an extension you download to your Google Chrome, okay? You must have Google Chrome. It only works on Google Chrome, and the extension is free. When you purchase, what you purchased on the Top Hat site was basically it's logging you into our class and Proctorio at the same time.
Oh,
so
perfect.
The extension itself is free, and Google Chrome is free.
Right.
Accessible through Texas State. But it was the, you know, making sure you're registered through Top Hat was that $10 monitoring fee.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So that brings me up. I have right here, I've sent all of you at least one login email for Top Hat here. And it is important. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that haven't registered yet. Okay. If you're going to stay in the course, please register. we're going to have a mock exam at the end of class on Wednesday. Okay, what that's going to do is going to make sure your Google Chrome's working, your video's working, your Proctorio's working. And so I want to do it as, you know, just like 5 extra bonus points on your next exam, just to make sure everything's working. Okay, it's going to be a low stress test. It's just going to be 10 questions of related to our, you know, chemistry up to that point. And it's to make sure all of your systems are working. Okay, and then that gives you 2 days to get it all working before the actual exam on Friday. Okay, so please go ahead and register and try those things out. You should be able to already see under content, excuse me, under content, you should be able to see slides for chapters 1 through 4. And those should be assigned to you and available to you throughout the summer. So those should be chapters 1 through 4, and they should be assigned as 3 different slide sets. Okay, and then by tonight sometime, I will have also assigned all 4 chapters of homework for you, and so you should have all of those available to you on Top Hat, hopefully by tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Okay, and then once the test opens, I'll assign it, and it'll open, and then you will be able to go in and see it for the time frame it's available, which is typically noon to 1:40 p.m. on Fridays. Okay, questions about that? Okay, I have something I want to share, and I'm also going to put this on my track side. I just wanted to talk you through it first, to show you kind of what we're doing here. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So on Tracks and on Canvas, you will find this PDF document. It's an outline as to which chapters we're going to do which days, and what kind of activities we might have on a specific day. And so what I have is each chapter broken down in which week we are intending to use it on. And then what I have marked down are 3 goals for that chapter. Now, these are not in the same order as in the book. The 3 goals are 3 things that are very important that I want to talk about specifically on that goal. Okay, so for example, in chapter 1, the most important thing about chapter 1 is that electrons are doing the bonding, and we need to follow where the electrons are and what kind of bonds we can make with them. Okay, so that's goal 1. But then we also have another goal of what a Lewis dot structure is and how it can be helpful. And then our 3rd goal is hybridization. Okay, so these are not every slide we have, which is why the slides that are on Top Hat right now are the slides related to these individual goals. Okay, so it's a very focused set of information, but if you go to the main chapter and look at all the slides or all the videos on the slides, there are many more slides there. Okay, so, but if you have to, you know, these 3 things are the most important things to study, and then build onto it from that. Okay, so these are all set up for the different weeks we have it. And so that means our first exam will cover chapters 1 through 4, our second exam will covers chapters 5 through 8, etc. Okay, and then in our last week, we have our last chapter, which is the polymer chemistry. And then we'll have 2 days to review, and those will be question and answer sessions. Those will be, hey, you know, this question in the homework looked weird to me, you know, what can we do, and stuff like that. I also will have one of our group activities is going to be our nomenclature flowchart kind of building, and so we can review that and look at some different things and look about properties versus functional groups, and we'll end up doing that toward the end of the semester in our last couple days to kind of review everything. Okay, so within that we have what I call activities. Activities include the homework and things to look for. Okay, so I'll have these activities they're kind of most of them, except for the group activity, are going to be questions asked during the Top Hat and Zoom sessions. And so that's where we'll get those kind of answers and stuff like that. In the third thing I have here under assessment 3, it's a self-test. What I mean by that is if you go and study everything and try to do the homework like a quiz without using your notes, that could be a self-test. And then you could go back and say, okay, I answered them all. Let's go back and look at my notes and assign them. And so that's how I would consider that a self-test. For the group assessment, that's something that you're going to do together. And the group as a whole will gather points by the number of participants and how the interaction goes and stuff like that. So that means we have a certain number of points available to us for each day and a certain number of points available to us each week. And then you can follow that chart all the way down. And so we'll get to all those different little types. And so we have the different currently scheduled activities, and I'll explain those more as we get to those activities. But this will be available to you on 1,600 points total. So this will be available on Tracks and or Canvas, hopefully by the end of tomorrow. I wanted to pretty this one up a little bit. All right, any questions about the outline, about where we're going to go for this class? Okay, we are using Tracks and Canvas. To answer Michelle King's question, yes, I will try to post everything on both because I'm trying to learn Canvas because it is a little bit better than Tracks, but I'm really used to Tracks. So I'm going to be using them both and learning from both. And so whichever one you're more familiar with, there should be duplicate information, except for the discussion forums. The discussion forums are only on Canvas. Okay. And the homework the homework / assignments will be on Top Hat. Homework is on Top Hat. The activities are going to be those in class. We're going to start with Zoom until everybody's logged in to Top Hat, and then I will actually start presenting through Top Hat, and that's when the questions will start accruing points and stuff like that. So, okay. The chart on the screen is not on Tracks or Canvas yet. I wanted to pretty it up before I upload it, but I'll have this uploaded by, well, okay, I'll have it uploaded by the end of the day, so that you'll have an outline of what to do and what to study. Okay. Okay. In addition to that, there's 3 videos already online for the YouTube. I should have the rest of this week's videos of chapters 1 and 2 up tonight, and then 3 and 4 will be up the following day. I do have about 45 other videos starting at chapter 8 and beyond, so those will become available to you as I just open those up. And so, all right. Okay. Any other questions about kind of our outlines and stuff?
I do have a question.
Yes.
So I did notice that the YouTube videos, you're following a little bit different slides than what was posted from Top Hat. So I guess to clarify, the slides that you're posting on Top Hat, those are the most important slides? Okay.
Not exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So the YouTube videos cover all of the information in the chapter, okay, in detail. Okay, so examples and the structure, it follows the book. Okay, so that is the information from the chapter. Okay, the slides on Top Hat will be the ones that I present during our Zoom or Top Hat discussions, because I want to talk about individual topics, and then I do individual problems within those topics to help you identify, oh, that's why it's so important. And so these are things I just want to focus on as primary goals to make sure that you understand those fundamentally. Because if you understand those fundamentally, then you go back to the video and you go, oh, okay, that's why it all makes sense, you know. So they are in a different order and they're not exactly the same. And so it's all about focusing your attention on a specific learning goal.
Okay.
So that's what the learning goal ones or the Top Hat slides are versus the YouTube videos are everything. And then these are learning goals. Okay.
Got it.
I'll go to a learning goal here just in a minute when we're done answering questions here. Okay. So any questions right now? We're about 45 minutes in. What I'd like to do now is I would like to go ahead and stop recording, close the video, close our meeting and open it back up. And everybody can go have a bio break or something like that. We'll meet back here in like 5 minutes. And then we'll go and start with our chapter 1 goals 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Any questions on that? Right there. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing right here. Okay. I'm going to stop recording and stop